Hi, my name is Lorraine. I am a recruitment professional who's worked supporting people into jobs and helping businesses hire staff for the best part of 25 years or so. So lots of skills and experience I've built up over the years, which is what I want to share with you today. So I am going to do a little session on CV writing and what to put in that CV to really make sure that it stands out to people like me who's reading it, so that we can clearly see all your best bits, basically. Okay, so let me just share my screen with you if I can. One moment. Okay, let's go big on here. Right, so this is my company, Recruitment, and I, as I said, work with businesses to help them with their hiring needs and also help people find the next step on their career path. So today's session is all about top tips. If you can see me on the screen, just slide me about the page so that it doesn't interfere with anything on this PowerPoint presentation. So I want you to grab, before we get started, pen and a bit of paper, just so that you can scribble notes as we're going along. It is recorded, so you can stop, start, and freeze frame me. Please get my best side though when you freeze frame me, and we can work through this together. So let's get started. Okay, so CVs. The biggest mistake people make is they say, right, I'm going to do a CV, and they just start bashing things out onto the computer without really putting much forethought and planning into it. So my first top tip for you would be sit down and actually plan it out, what you want to put in the CV. So this is what I'm going to talk you through step by step. So the first thing is, what job do I want? And am I the right fit for that job role? So as a hiring manager, I get hundreds of CVs, literally a big pile, and I have to sift through them very quickly, one after the other. Probably only spend about 7 seconds on that CV. So it's really important that I can see your skills and experience as relevant to the position you're applying for on page one of your CV. Now, in order to do that, if you want to try a mind map, so I quite like a mind map because I like pictures. So if you draw this on a bit of paper, right in the middle, what the job is that you're looking for and what you want to do. Now, for here, for instance, I've put admin assistant. Then round the outside, write down some key headings. So work benefits, duties or tasks, colleagues, management, relevant interests, and relevant skills. Okay, so let me talk you through quickly how you can start building this up. So if we start with work benefits, what do you need from work in terms of benefits? So do you want that job to be full-time, part-time? Is it contract, term time? You only want to work in the holidays? How much money do you want to get paid? How much do you need to get paid? So sometimes we've got a basic level that we definitely need. Do you want some nice to haves in there, like a cycle to work scheme, so you can actually get a bike to travel to and from work? Whatever it is that is important to you, write them under your work benefits. Then we look at the duties. So the job role that you put in the middle, what tasks or duties do you have to do in that job role? So if there's a job description, it's actually really quite easy because it will showcase you a list on the job description of everything the employer wants you to do. So just pop them in there. When we look at colleagues, think about who you enjoy working alongside. Do you like working in small teams where you share the workload? Do you prefer to work on your own independently and then present that back to your team? Do you like to work in a big office with lots and lots of people in it? Do you need people to be open, honest, respectful of each other? You know, whichever is important for you in terms of who you like working with is what you want to put in there. So this starts looking at the culture of the company really. And then your manager, what kind of manager do you want? Do you want somebody who gives you a lot of autonomy, just gives you a responsibility, lets you be creative and actually figure out yourself how to do it? Or do you want a more structured approach whereby somebody's going to give you, say, an apprenticeship with coaching and mentoring and checkpoints throughout the way? So whatever's important to you, what you want from your manager, again, just pop that in there. And then we'll look at interests. So this is what interests that you've got is relevant to the job, not just like swimming and yoga at the weekend. You know, whatever is relevant to the position you're applying for, we want to put them down there. So you like working on the computer, so that would be relevant to this admin position. You like talking to people, you like being organised. So these are interests that personally you like doing, and what we want to do is spend 80% plus of our time in work doing the things we like doing. So we all have that 20% of our job role where we think, I have to do this, it's not my favourite, but it's part and parcel of the role. But we want to spend most of our time doing the things we love doing. So relevant skills is, what skills have you got or achieved that you can showcase to an employer that's relevant to that role that you're actually applying for. So in this case, they've got experience in raising, processing invoices, they've done a qualification that shows their IT skills, and they've got good verbal communication skills that they've maybe learned through work or presenting. So a mind map just helps you focus the mind and draw up a little bit of a graph as to what you're looking for. So some of the key questions you might want to ask yourself, I've listed some down here that will just maybe talk you through, and you can freeze this frame and actually look through them. So it just helps you think, you know, what should I be putting in those? But I hope that kind of makes sense to you. And if you're still not sure what the role is, so one of the biggest challenges in life sometimes is, I don't know what I want to do when I leave school. I left school at 16. I certainly did not know what I wanted to do when I left school. And I don't think I really learned until I was about over 30. So, and that's okay, you know, it's normal. So there is some hints and tips on Skills Development Scotland's website on Under My World of Work. I'm sure you've probably come across this in school already, or part of your career guidance or educators, but it is actually really good. There's also one on prospects.ac.uk that you can use, and it's just an online strengths tool that helps you offer some work suggestions of what you might like to do. Do take it with a pinch of salt. It does say I should be a DJ, but I know nothing about music, so not relevant for me, but it's a suggestion. Okay, so it just gets you thinking and exploring. And obviously one of the key things with the suggestions is look at what's important for you, because there's no point in applying for a position in a sector that might not be in an area you want to live in. So you do need to take it with some interest and then decide, you know, is that going to be suitable for me, and then start exploring from there. So hopefully that will help you just explore some options if you don't know. And then once you do know, go back to the mind map and then draw that up before you do your CV. Okay, so that's the first point. Preparing your CV takes a lot of preparation work, because we have to research and actually do a lot of things. So I run a job club in the local library, and part of that, people come, they say, I want a CV, but they haven't got any information, which means that they end up going out with half a written CV. So before you start, get 3 lists together and write down work history is one heading, education and training, and voluntary interest and experience. Okay, so under these headings, you then start to write down all the things that you've done under those headings. Now, the things that we need or look for as hiring managers is your job titles, the employer's name, where that employer is located, start and end date, including the month and the year. Some companies even ask for the start day, month and year, but most of the time, month and year will be fine. Under education and training, then list all your qualifications, all your courses that you've done, what your grades were, when you started them, when you finished them, completed date you got awarded your grades. And the same with any training. You might have done some training courses outside education or in work, food hygiene, alcohol licence training, things like that. And voluntary experience. So voluntary experience and placements is also fundamentally important and can add so much value onto your CV. So what did you do in voluntary work? Have you got hobbies and interests? Are you a coach for a youth team, for football? Or do you help out with brownies? Do you do charity work? So all those things that you've done, write down your job role, the date you started, the date you finished, and where they were located. So write all the lists of all the information that you can gather. Okay. So once we've got all that down on a bit of paper, we want to look at the skills. So skills is probably the most important thing on your CV. And it's something that you do really well. So these things are things that showcases you as a person, it comes naturally to you, and you're wanting to showcase them to an employer so that they can take you on. So if I give you an example here, so if I've talked you through this, so the task in the job description is to provide excellent customer service. So what you're thinking about is, okay, where have I provided really good customer service in the work that I've done previously, or any placements, or charity work, etc. And then you want to write down your skills sentence. Now, the skills sentence always starts with a verb. So what have you done? Received, managed, responded are some of the 3 examples I've provided here. So received employee of the month for providing a quality and friendly service. Brilliant, 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 because this showcases and provides proof as well that you can do it. So that is really good, because it gives an employer something to go and check back in the reference when they're talking to your previous employer about your what you've achieved. Manage peak periods, reduce waiting times, works well in high pressurised situations. So this is you thinking about the role that you've undertaken previously and what are the key areas that you have achieved or been responsible for and how you've gone about them. And these areas all go under your work history. So skill sentences, write down all your achievements, all your skills. Doesn't matter all about the wording being perfect just now, just get them down on paper and just always think, start with the verbs, what I've achieved, what I've managed, what I've responded to, so that is what we're looking for. It classes your CV as an achiever rather than just a doer, okay? So we don't want to see any lists of job descriptions copied off of a job description straight onto your CV. It's not how we do things to get you to stand out. So references. So we do need some referees, and not of the football kind, but if you're a coach, you can actually put a referee down as a coach. So we want 2 or 3 people that you can use as referees, because it's okay saying all these things on your CV. However, as a recruiter, we do check. So I will go back and I'll actually investigate and prove that you've got everything you say you have on your CV. So, so work references can be a line manager that you've worked for previously, and or HR department, and then you want a character reference. So maybe a teacher, or as I said, a football coach that you've worked with previously, doctor, etc. The only thing you can't use is relatives. Now, the challenging thing sometimes is some employers will ask for a character reference of somebody that's known you for at least 3 years, and that can be quite difficult sometimes if you don't know somebody. So it takes a little bit of research. Might be a neighbour that you maybe need to know what their job role was, so go and ask them what they do and would they vouch for you as a person. So work reference, character reference. Always make sure that you ask your referees if you can put them down as a reference. Nothing worse than a recruiter picking up the phone to your reference, your referee, and say, "Oh, who's that? We Jenny? I don't know Jenny." Or so if you prompt them beforehand and say, "Hi, it's me, would you mind? I'm looking for this job in a you know, I wonder if I can use you as a reference. And then courteously, just thank them after they do it for you, because if you thank them, they're more likely to do it again when you might need them again in the future. So it's okay on your CV just to put references available upon request. If I request them, make sure you've gathered all the information that I'm going to need, which is the name, job title, the company they work for, company's address, the telephone number and email addresses. So make sure you've got all that information to hand. So information gathering, we're doing a great job. We're gathering all this information together. So we want to then put it in a layout and format that is going to be acceptable for me, and I can understand it and see it quite quickly. So there's a couple of different types of CVs. There's quite a few different variations. However, some of the more popular ones is a chronological CV, where you start with a list of everything you've done in date order under certain headings, and you always start with the most recent or the thing you're doing right now, and then you work backwards, okay? So don't be starting about the job you had at 14 as a paper round and put that the first thing on your CV, because it means I'm having to flick through onto page 2, and we don't want to do that. The second type of CV is a skills-based or functional-based CV, and that's probably one of my favourite types of CVs, because if you're looking at a role that you've maybe got limited experience in or haven't done previously, then it helps to showcase your transferable skills. So the CV that I format that I'm going to give you today is a little bit like a chronological CV, but I'm throwing in quite a bit of skills-based or functional statements in there that will help you get read, okay? So lots and lots of templates. I'm going to show you, I'm going to put one up here today that you can actually look at, but there's loads out there. Monster, S1 Jobs, you know, my website, My World of Work, has got one as well. So, you know, there is no reason why you can't say, I don't have a layout. So there's loads of templates out there you can use. So added the information into your CV. So header. So the first headline on your CV, I want to see your name. I want to see your full address, including postcode, and telephone numbers and email addresses. Now, with your name, if your name on your passport or birth certificate is not your known as name, put both, give me both, because, you know, if you put a name down that you're, you know, Reginald Arnold, and I phone up and say, can I speak to Reginald? And you say, I don't know who that is, or, you know, it's something only your mother calls you and you get told off, then we want to make it personable. So give me your known as name. So it's okay to do that, and as long as it's not your nickname, if you like. So put your formal name and then put your known as. So, you know, you might be called Reginald, but you might be called John. You know, it happens. There's lots of people that change their name out there. Email addresses, massive. Okay, so listen in. Email addresses, there's a really good time and a place where everybody can get to know your personality and what you like. If you've got an email address that you created when you were 13 and it's sexylegs@hotmail.com, we don't want to see it, okay? This is your first impression. They do not know you. You don't know what offends that person. You might have sexy legs, but I don't need to know it. So just keep it simple. Put your name, at, and then, you know, Hotmail or Gmail or whatever. If you haven't got one, create one. Create one for work and keep it separate for work only. Now, you all look lovely, as is this done on the right-hand side, but I don't want to see any photographs on your CV, okay? I've seen your Instagram shots, they're very nice. However, for this purpose, we only want to put your name at the top. Now, there is exceptions, and if you're applying for a position in Europe, then of course they do use photographs, so then you would put one up. Date of birth leads to discrimination, we don't want it in there. National insurance number, I've seen that quite a few times. It's not necessary, that level of personal data, so just keep it off and just keep it basic on your heading. So, pitch. This is my favourite part. So on your profile, you give a very small paragraph as an introduction to your CV on you, okay? So this is your pitch to an employer as to why they should employ you and what you can bring to the role in one short, snappy paragraph. It's almost like a hook, like a marketing hook, like an advertising jingle. You know, why do we use, you know, Amazon? What do they offer us? And Google. Why do everybody use Google? It's because they're very good at pitching and hooking us in, and that's what you want to do from your CV. Your CV is just a marketing tool to get you in front of somebody for interview. Once you're at the interview, that's a whole different kettle of fish, and that's somebody else's session, not mine to do. So in terms of here, I'm giving you a 1, 2, 3 approach to building up your pitch. So number one, opening statement. You should focus on the introduction about you and something you've got in common with that company. Okay, so I've put down here as an example a final year student at Napier University studying a BA Honours Business Administration with German languages. Okay, so I would assume that they are applying for a role in business that is a German-based company or somewhere where they have to use languages, because they've mentioned that in their opening statement. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is your follow-up, and that really showcases your career aspirations and what activities that you've done that will help you achieve your goal that you're going for. So, for example, I put a little crib here that you can fill in some blanks. Interested in pursuing work in whichever sector or industry you're applying to, have done X, Y, and Z. So, what skills and experience have you done that showcases that to that employer is relevant to the role, and where did you do it? So was it an internship, a placement, was it a particular job role that you've done? So give them some information, and this is where you are then selling your skills to the employer. And the final statement is your ask. So ask me, what do you want? So I read CVs sometimes and I think, well, that's nice, you sent your CV to me, but you've not sent me a cover letter. I don't know what you want. There's no ask in here. It's just your CV with a load of stuff on it. So ask me. So here is an example. Seeking a graduate entry role within a customer-centric organisation with the potential for career growth. So that tells me that your customer service is really important to you, and you're a people person, and that you want a company that's going to offer career progression. So that, when you're selling it to me, encourages me then to read on from the CV. Okay, practice your pitch, practice it, put different words in it. You change your pitch to every job role you're applying for, because we only want to see it relevant to the role. So if you're applying for a job as a customer service advisor in a call centre with a bank, you know, the skills that you're going to showcase to me as an employer are very different to sending me a job application for a landscape gardener. You might like both, you might be capable of both, but if you're applying for one job or another, tailor your CV to match it, including your pitch. Okay? Does that make sense? Good. So, layout. So, your layout of your CV is really, you can play around with it. You can make it look, you know, relatively attractive, but the important thing is it has to be clear. So when we go back to what we've just covered, your name, address, telephone number, email address, if you've got LinkedIn profile, you can put LinkedIn on there. So they go at the top. Then is your pitch. So your profile that you're going to write up, you put that in next. Skills and achievements. So when we looked at the skills, if you want to showcase that employer the skills that you've got, you can put them in here. So this is your received, managed, responded. These are your verb words. Some key things that's relevant to that position that you want to tell them about and say, right, this is what I've done or good at that role. So you're highlighting them straight away. Work placement experience. So again, this is all your work history and your experience, and this is the dates, the job title, the employer's name, location, and then you're writing just a very small paragraph showcasing me what you were responsible for, what you did in that job role. Most of the time we can tell from the job title what you would be responsible for, but there may be some variations in companies, so just write a small paragraph. What I don't want to see is a list of all your jobs and responsibilities copied off your job description. No, 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 no. Boring, boring, boring. This is your CV, your marketing tool. So it should be marketing your best bits and what you were good at for the role. Next is your education. So again, in education, you can also put training courses in here as well, under a separate heading if you've done lots of different training courses that's relevant to the role. Hobbies and interests. So in your hobbies and interests, it's again anything that's relevant to the job role you're applying for. So if you are putting something in, make sure that it's of interest. So there might be something in common with somebody that you're going to work for, and they run sort of company golf days, and you've got a golf handicap of 10, which is great. Mine's about 30. And so put it in if you think that it would actually be relevant, because we do like to work with people that we've got something in common with. So that's important. And if you do any hobbies and interests, that you're an avid charity fundraiser, for instance, then you might want to put that in there. Just avoid any political statements, any specifics about football teams in case you get the opposite team that supports it. So you don't want to give any ambiguity in your CV as to why they might not interview you. And then your references just at the bottom, and as I said, you can put available on request and then come back to it later. So you can see all the information that we've been gathering throughout. We're now putting it all into the right positions within your CV to start building that CV up. And once your CV is looking shiny, on point, and you think, yes, this targets this role, this tells the hiring manager exactly what I'm capable of and what I've achieved and what I'm looking for, then we do your cover letter. So, cover letters, some people say, oh, well, do I need a cover letter? If I apply online, it just asks me from a CV. I would say yes, 110%, always put a covering letter in email. This provides an explanation that the recruiter or hiring manager might not see from your CV. So it just explains and goes into more detail. So 4 parts, a bit like your pitch. First part is dear. So if you know my name, hi Lorraine, this is dear, my CV, put my name in. There's nothing worse than me getting a letter through and it says, dear sir, or to whom it may concern. Do your research, guys. Pick up the phone, ask who the CV should go to and who you want to send it to, and put their name in. Polite, it's courteous, and it shows me that you're proactive. So you want to stand out. This is what this workshop is about. Get my name. Opening, introduction. So the next paragraph is state the exact position that you're looking for and where you saw it advertised. Now, that's of interest to me because I do keep stats on what's working, what job boards work successfully, where I'm getting the most return on my investment. So you're doing me a favour by putting that in, so that's good. Create interest by using a motivating opening statement. Tell me something you know about the business or the company or the team that I'm working in that motivates you why you want to apply. So this is your why. Why do you want this job? Okay, and we don't really want to see, because I need the money. We all need the money, but we want to know why this particular company motivates you other than any other company. Okay. Body, so the main development, 1 or 2, very short paragraph, again just going through your skills and qualities that's suitable for that position. And we don't want you to copy and paste everything from your CV and just stick it back in here, but change it around a little bit so that it just comes out with a few more sentences and showcases your best bits. And then the close on your CV is your ask, so ask for an interview. Some people think, oh, well, that's rude, it's a bit bold, but not if you word it properly. So what you're saying is, thank you for taking the time to read my CV. Very interested in speaking to you further about the the job role. Would love to be invited to an interview. I can be available on Thursday or Friday, or any time to suit you. And here's my contact telephone number. So it gives you a direct closing statement and puts the ball back in my court to say, yeah, I would like a phone call from you. Okay, and then yours sincerely, if you know my name, always sincerely sign off on the letter, and who you are. Okay, so once you've done one, you can tweak it for the job roles that you're applying for. But I would encourage you, even if you're applying on Indeed or one of the job boards and the CVs are already on there, I would encourage you not to leave a template on there, but to change it to make sure it's personalised for that job role. Okay. Any questions? So if you have got any questions, unfortunately I can't answer them because it's not live, but you can go back and have a look through some of the top tips and just freeze and just revisit parts. Okay. So for me, it's really exciting. The world is literally your oyster, or in this case, she's holding a broccoli, not an oyster, so I don't understand, but go for it. I think for me, the career paths that are out there, yes, it's a tough market out there, and that's why you need to put a little bit of effort into making sure that your best bits are being showcased. And make sure you're filling up your time with relevant work experience or voluntary work to showcase that passion for the industry. And fingers crossed, you will land that perfect job. And hopefully one day I might see your CV across my desk. Okay, good luck, guys. Thanks for listening.